Why the nervous system matters more than you may think. Traditional medicine focuses on symptoms. They run tests like blood work, MRIs, EEGs, and they look to find obvious problems. But what if the challenge that your child has isn't showing up on these tests? That's where neurologically focused chiropractic care and the InSight scans come in. Now, the InSight scans are not only safe, but they're an easy way to evaluate how your child's central nervous system is working. They show me how the body is functioning, not just if something looks wrong or right, but analytically to understand what's going on with this disconnect. The nervous system is so important, and if we look at the central nervous system, which we're going to just call the nervous system, it's a control center for the entire body. It helps your child eat, sleep, poop, move, think, and grow. If the nervous system isn't working right, nothing else in their body will. As Dr. Bruce Lipton says, the function of the nervous system is to perceive the environment and to coordinate the function of all other cells in the body. So while you may have focused on gut health, immunity, motor development with things like PT, OT, or speech therapy, none of those will work well if the nervous system is out of balance. Now, what does the autonomic mean in this nervous system? Automatic means things like breathing, digestion, sleep, and the movement that happens without you consciously having to think about it. The autonomic nervous system controls all of this, and our InSight scans show how well the nervous system's performing. How does this compare with other approaches? Well, here's the breakdown. Traditional medicine looks for disease, and they treat symptoms with medication. PT, OT, speech therapy focus on movement and muscle tone. Pediatric and a neurological emphasis of chiropractic care, we focus on how the central nervous system is performing. Now, think of the nervous system as a two-way street. You have sensory nerves that tell the brain what's happening inside and outside of the body. You have motor nerves that tell the body what to do. Because the nervous system controls 37.2 million cells, and communication needs to be fast and clear, way beyond 5G speeds. If the signal slows down or if it gets scrambled, your child's health suffers. What is mattering most in early childhood is that the brain doubles in size in the first year of life, and it grows rapidly until the age of 7. That makes the early nervous system checks more important than height, weight, or other routine measurements. The InSight scans give us insight to your child's true health. The InSight scans give us a true insight to your child's true health and really forecasting their health potential. Instead of just tracking symptoms, the InSight scans show how your child's brain and body are really working. And it gives us a really clear path to improving and balancing how their body performs. Now, these are things that really are important because they can help us to find, track, and understand if subluxation and dysautonomia are affecting your child's nervous system. And if they are, we focus on the severity of the issue. We also find the location within the neurospinal system. Too much stress in one area of this particular system helps to explain a lot about your child's health, ranging from symptoms to conditions. Think of it like a fuse box. If one circuit is overloaded, problems show up in specific areas. The same goes for your child's nervous system as well. We're going to now speak about two terms that were just used: subluxation and dysautonomia. These are two issues that cause three major problems within the nervous system. They allow buildup of stress and tension, they create poor balance and coordination, and most importantly, they create disorganization and dysfunction. Signs your child's nervous system may be stressed will include quite a few things that your doctors just say, don't worry, they're going to grow out of it. Things like in infants with colic and frequent crying, tantrums and meltdowns for the toddlers, motor or speech delays, sensory or emotional challenges, hyperactivity or anxiety in older kids. What's fascinating is that we see the same patterns in infants, kids, and teens, just with different symptoms. The common cause is a stressed out, unbalanced nervous system. Unfortunately, many pediatricians still dismiss these early warning signs as normal, and it's something that they presume kids are just going to grow out of. But these symptoms often signal that these challenges, what we call a perfect storm. It's a nervous system under serious strain. Let's go ahead and take a deeper look. We're going to go through each individual scan, and we're going to touch base on what these are all used for. So let's go ahead and first touch base on the thermography scan. Now, the neurothermal scan is really helpful to understand and show how the nervous system is accumulating stress through subluxation and dysautonomia. And these areas are going to affect different regions of the body. So again, think of that fuse box where the spine is the fuse box, and it's going to affect other systems. Since the autonomic nervous system controls digestion, immunity, hormones, and more, this scan is especially useful for kids, especially if they're dealing with challenges like colic, reflux, constipation, chronic ear infections, allergies. The list goes on. I mean, sleep issues, challenges with adrenal and hormone imbalances, anxiety. These are all areas that can be identified through the neurothermal scan. This scan gives us a clear picture of how stress in the nervous system may be contributing to these particular challenges. Now, what we look for in this neurothermal scan is really important, and we're going to dive into the details when you actually go through your scans, but we're looking for a few factors. Number one are the colored bars. So if you look up here, you're going to see blue, you're going to see red. These areas right here show the buildup of stress and tension. So again, if you have this crisscrossing effect, so you're going to see C1 on one side, C2 on the other side, C3, these colors are going to be numerically calculated. You'll see a number to the left. Severe or significant is red, moderate is blue, mild is green. So this shows where the major stress occurs inside that neurospinal system. Now, this tug of war pattern is also very important, and it's a sign of dysautonomia or an imbalance throughout that neurospinal system. So these inflammatory markers that create stress at each segment of the spine are very important to understand, because symmetry is also very important, and it tells us if both sides of the nervous system are balanced, which is absolutely a key for brain coordination. So in this example that you see, there is not only the challenges with the coloration, right? We're seeing the red and blue, which shows significant and mild stress. It shows that tug of war pattern as it crisscrosses, and it also shows an imbalance in symmetry, which that symmetry will create that confusion in that brain and body system. Now, up next is the neurospinal EMG, which is electromyography. This allows us to look deeper at neurological tone. This scan is especially important for kids facing challenges like autism or Asperger's, children with sensory processing challenges or diagnosis, ADHD, and anxiety. These conditions often involve a buildup of tension and very poor tone in the neuromotor system, something that parents may hear about from a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, or even speech therapists. Since motor development drives brain development, sensory on this system, or stress, on this system often leads to emotional, behavioral, and learning difficulties. If the EMG scan shows stuck tension, it usually means the child's brain is stuck in fight or flight mode. There's going to be 3 common patterns on the EMG scan. We're going to have the raging bull, which is a nervous system stuck on go, leading to hyperactivity, anxiety, poor sleep, and behavioral issues. The drunken bull indicates poor coordination, poor focus, lack of speech, and challenges with comprehension. Now there's also a raging drunken bull, which is a mix of both. These kids are older. They're a little bit more complex with their systems. The exciting part is that kids often improve quickly under care. And that's thanks to their fast-growing bodies and highly adaptive nervous systems. EMG scan scoring systems are really going to look at 3 different compartments. Now, these compartments are going to help us to understand the child's brain and body function. There's going to be total energy score, which kids stuck in high stress mode are going to have a really high energy score. There's a pattern score, which looks at more focus, posture and emotional control. And then there's a symmetry score, which tells us if both sides of the nervous system are balanced, which is key for a brain balance, brain coordination. All right, we're going to first start on this raging bull, high total energy. The biggest sign this is a raging bull scan is the very high total energy score of 413.8. When normal is around 100, it shows the child's nervous system is stuck in fight or flight mode, affecting motor development, which is like standing and walking. It'll affect sleep, behavior, emotions, digestion, the list goes on. This child also shows signs of a drunken bull because there is a low score in the other 2 areas, which really show poor coordination and poor balance. These areas here are going to show, remember, energy index, pattern, and symmetry. Now these black lines right here show the individual's amplitude of muscle tension. That tension in that neurospinal system will be reflected through the energy index. Now next is going to be the drunken bull. Now the drunken bull is going to have low pattern, low symmetry. For this child, her pattern score was extremely low. Now that signifies she's struggling with a drunken bull type of neurological challenge, which is emotional regulation, sensory processing, motor coordination, and digestion. The third and final scan that we're going to discuss today, which is going to wrap up our InSight scan analysis, is the HRV scan. Now, the HRV, which is heart rate variability, it gives us a large picture, a bird's eye view of how healthy and balanced the autonomic nervous system is. The key words is variability, because strong neurological health means that your body is able to adapt and bounce back from stress very quickly. Whether it's fighting off an illness, handling emotional stress, or dealing with changes in routine, adaptability is the foundation of good health. Many parents of kids who have sensory issues, kids on the spectrum, say that they wish that their child was more flexible and a little less rigid. The HRV scan helps to explain why that's a struggle at first and shows improvement over time through neurologically based chiropractic care. What we most often see on HRV scans in my practice is that the nervous system shows a shift to the left. So let's get you an example real quick to show you what that looks like. Now, on an HRV scan, you're going to see right here that the body is balanced to the left. So just to walk you through, we have 0 on 100 to the left side, which shows the autonomic activity. Within the autonomic nervous system, you have the gas pedal on the left side, we have the brake pedal on the right side. So the goal is to be perfectly balanced in the midline and to be at 100% of performance and activity. Now you see right here is that this individual shows a shift to the left, which shows that that child is stuck in that fight or flight mode. It also shows that there is poor vagal tone because there's a parasympathetic exhaustion, which is why the child's stuck in that left side. Also, it's shifted low, which shows low energy, poor adaptability. There's no reserve capabilities. The white dot on the HRV shows where these patterns are clearly at, and it helps us to track progress. What the HRV scan can reveal about stress is that when the heart rate, which if you look at this bottom right hand corner here, heart rate is going to be shown in red, whereas an increase in skin response, which is conductance, is the blue line below. This shows how anxiety and stress build up quickly even while sitting still. This scan is done while a child sits still for a 3-minute period. Now, imagine the same amount of stress buildup during school or bedtime or even daily routines. There's no wonder why these kids are actually struggling. This kind of stress response, which is caused by subluxation and sympathetic dominance, is the root cause of why challenges are being faced with these kiddos. Wound up and worn out is the new norm for most families today who live in a constant state of go. Feeling wired but tired. And it's like a toddler who skipped their nap, right? They're exhausted, emotional, and overwhelmed. Just like infants with colic who oftentimes grow into challenges with sensory spectrum challenges, kids don't grow out of the stress-related issue. They grow into things like hyperactivity, anxiety, sleep struggles, and even depression if it's left unattended. These scans, especially the HRV scan, is a game changer for mental and emotional health. HRV scans will help to identify the real root cause of these challenges with mood, energy, focus, and sleep. And when it's used properly with neurologically based chiropractic care, there's no medication. So when we look at this, we're looking to restore calm and balance this adaptability, which is exactly why when we look at chiropractic, there's so many other game-changing opportunities. I'm going to share with you that I share in my practice, because right here is the results show better than anything, is that when we see these improvements where 40% of patients saw an improvement in sleep, we're talking changes in sleep simply from neurologically based chiropractic care. Now, this is huge because most people with these challenges are taking medication and they still have these challenges, not to even mention the string of side effects. So when we see these areas, these are all evaluation changes that are seen in practice. I mean, emotional stress improved, flexibility, mobility, energy levels, pain management. These are huge secondary effects of chiropractic. We're going to put it all together now. At your appointment, we're going to discuss and walk you through these InSight scans. And the real power comes from seeing how they work together to give you a full picture of your child's nervous system and their overall health. These scans can be done at the same time that a child's resting and relaxing. It's not going to cause pain or issues, and it provides insight to your child's most important systems, which is the nervous system. Think of this as the mom of the body, right? It organizes, regulates, and supports everything in life. But like with most moms, it can get wound up and worn out. Now, the good news is that it doesn't have to stay that way. We will provide you with a personalized care plan that is designed for your individual needs. Each and every adjustment will start this momentum to unstick that stress and allow the body to calm, heal, and create healthy development.